Hey kids, this is Princess Readaloud from Kids Reading Corner 207, and today I'm going to read No Such Things, written and illustrated by Bill Peet. In memoriam presented to Fort Fairfield Public Library by Fred McGowan Jr. in memory of Timothy Carl Desjardins. To my brand new grandson, Michael. The blue-snouted twumps feed entirely on weeds, and along with the weeds, they swallow the seeds. Eating seeds causes weeds to sprout on their backs till they look very much like walking haystacks. When a mother twump has young ones to raise, her weed-covered back is where they all graze. Of all the odd creatures, you won't find another who supports its young as both father and mother. The glubzungs, who resemble big old sunken logs, keep a hungry eye out for plump juicy frogs, since old sunken logs are where frogs like to hide. When they spy a glubzunk, they go swimming inside. But glubzunks are slow-witted and not at all clever, and to shut their big mouths takes them almost forever. By then all the frogs, and I'm happy to say, have made their escape and are swimming away. The golden brown crested pie-faced beziques have huge appetites that match their big beaks, and their three-toed unusual pitchfork-like feet are perfect for picking the cherries they eat. To make sure everyone in the flock gets a share, there's a strict pecking order to keep it all fair. This means that the smaller ones stay in their places till the bigger beziques are done filling their faces. The common big wig-tailed mopwagons have no hair on their noggins. That's the main reason why they're so sheepish and shy. Also the reason they are crafty and sly. They hide their bare heads in a very strange way by using their tails as a perfect toupee, and no one would guess that their noggins were hairless if the sheepish mopwagons were not sometimes careless. It's no fun for the flumpers to crawl on the ground, so they coil themselves to be perfectly round. Then they go for a spin, a wild, whirling ride, far out in the hilly, broad countryside. After so many miles of rolling about, they discover their rubbery hides have worn out. Since they can't be retreated once they go flat, there's nothing the flumpers can do after that. The juggerums have a most impolite way of overpowering their high-flying prey. They use their strong breath, one potent kerpuff, to stun dragonflies if they fly close enough. Then the dragonflies drop as if someone had shot them, with no idea of just what could have got them. Then cross-eyed and dizzy, down the flies come to end up inside the old juggerum. The spooky-tailed Tizzy has a brain that's so small, she forgets everything in just no time at all. That's why her own tail is a shocking surprise, with its ferocious jaws and enormous red eyes. One glimpse of the thing and she lets out a shriek, flies into a tizzy, takes off like a streak. She runs on for miles, screaming in terror, before she discovers her horrible error. The reason the flubduds all sigh in despair, They stand on their own feet and can't go anywhere. Since they're much too befuddled to figure things out, they're stuck in one place and can't move about. It always will be quite a while between feasts for these awkward, dim-witted, grass-eating beasts. They won't get one nibble, not one bite to eat, till the prairie grass grows almost up to their feet. The great Gulagalops, with their yawning fish faces, live deep in the sea in the gloomiest places. And since they're so long and completely strung out, they lose track of themselves while they're swimming about. When they catch a sardine, more often than not, it turns out to be their own tail that they've got. So they don't dare to trust or believe their own eyes, for fear they might catch themselves by surprise. If the fancy fandangos seem stuck up and snooty, it's mostly because of their exquisite beauty. They're most often seen with smug, smiling faces by a crystal-clear pond in a jungle oasis. There they linger for hours with nothing to do but sip the sweet water and admire the view. And the view they admire, as you might well suppose, is their own reflection right under their nose. The grabnabbits are an odd undersea growth, not plants nor animals, but mixtures of both. These creatures catch fish, but they never eat one. They do not have gullets, so they catch them for fun. To them, a codfish is just something to tease, to grab by the tail, to pinch or to squeeze. But the poor frightened fish cannot possibly know that they will not be eaten until they're let go. The sly, snickering snoop lives up where it snows. He always leaves tracks wherever he goes. When he runs to the west, this wrong way-footed beast leaves a trail of huge bear tracks that seem to go east. When hunters discover the trail of the brute, they suppose it's a bear and get ready to shoot. They never suspect that they've been led astray by a creature whose feet go the opposite way. The pin-headed macaque, who towers up to the sky, has a bird's eye view even though he can't fly, and since his beak is so amazingly small, he must feed on the tiniest creatures that crawl. And with so much frenzied pecking to do, he sees things more often from a worm's eye view. With his beak an inch or two from the ground, he peeks into crannies where bugs can be found. The Skizaboo's skis are completely self-grown, so you might say these skiers ski on their own. Kerswoosh! They take off in a smooth, easy glide aboard their big horns down a steep mountainside. The Skizaboos have a wonderful time if the return trip weren't such a tedious climb. When the horns hook on snags and keep bumping their knees, then they wish they weren't quite so attached to their skis. When the flummox goes fishing, he doesn't need bait. All he needs is the patience to sit still and wait. First he picks out a spot where it's shady and cool, and he lets his long beard float into a pool. Then deep in his gullet, the foxy old flummox makes a sound just like water running over the rocks. Soon the fish come leaping up the fake waterfall, then glug gloop, the sly flummox swallows them all. Well, the end. And what did you kids think of that story? Well, I thought it was a really great story because I liked how it added creatures that that you can't really find. And I like the story because it was all about imagination and a few animals that you'll never ever find. Well, the end. Thanks for listening and read lots.